Hi, my name is Adam Royle, and I'm at the moment. I have seen many of those things do eventually come true, but I often think we get the cart in front of the horse in terms of how much we talk about things versus how much impact it's having at that moment. I've been in advertising 20 years this summer. I had my first job, and my first two jobs in advertising were learning local television. At first a large agency and then a large media company, ESPN. I quickly did a pivot and I went back to the agency side of Digitas, and I learned digital right when it was starting, pre-programmatic, and I learned display and what turned into video, CTV, and search all at once. And within a year, I was firmly on the video ad tech, TV ad tech track, where I worked at 4 venture-backed television startups. I saw some wins, I saw some not wins, but I was lucky enough to, grow up with digital video and CTV and ad tech. And I worked at companies like Auditude, which got purchased by Adobe. I worked at Videology. I worked at a company called iView. And then after my stint in venture-backed companies, I landed at Roku in the very beginning of 2018, just when they had recently went public and started to take off as a business. And I was lucky to work there for the next 7 years and grow up very much, as a leader and as an employee with the business. And after that opportunity, I've been in my current role, Universal Ads, for 1 year, where I'm responsible for strategic partnerships across supply and demand. Comcast announced that we're making linear television inventory self-service. We will be enabling Comcast-owned linear television inventory in the Universal Ads platform alongside streaming inventory. And it's important to note, this supply will have the same accountability you are used to from digital. So that means the same targeting, the same buying and planning, and the same measurement. This is a significant barrier of entry that we are removing, whereas in the past, advertisers had a very hard time targeting with any accountability these television audiences. And we're simplifying that and unlocking that for advertisers of any size. I think there's a lot of trends in the industry, but the trend that Comcast and Universal Ads is very focused on is showing that television can drive real business outcomes in a scalable way. In the past, television advertising has done very well at a very high level on Fortune 100 brands and also at the hyperlocal level. But there is a torso that has been very unmissed or untapped in, and we are focused on tearing down those barriers of entries and expanding the television category at an advertiser level to have more of these advertisers have not been able to access TV in the past to have access. Frankly, that's the biggest opportunity for Universal Ads, and it's also the biggest opportunity for any owner of premium media or content. I think our industry moves fast, and we have to move fast to adapt, but I do think as an industry, we have a tendency to talk and vision things in circles before the execution is really in play. So I would say that's something that I've seen a lot in my career, being in television for this long. But I will say that I have seen many of those things do eventually come true. But I often think we get the cart in front of the horse in terms of how much we talk about things versus how much impact it's having at that moment. I think a pretty simple message has said a lot that I was told in my career, but not till much later, is remember to take your job very seriously, but don't take yourself very seriously. And I was told that much later in my career, and I feel like that's something you learn in time, but I would have been great to enter the workforce with that sort of point of view.